Perfect start to the year, man. This shit is a doozy. Smitzy boy is watching. I just hope you're prepared to face him. I'm charged up. We got the 2022 Anaheim 1 RF Pro track on MX Simulator. So, I'm not kidding at all. I'm not over-exaggerating at all when I say that this is literally an amateur sand supercross track. That's exactly what this is right here. It's an amateur difficulty sand supercross track. Oh my, this is actually hilarious at this point, RF. You've apparently learned absolutely nothing from all the stuff I was telling you 2 years ago that you were doing wrong with these tracks back when I was still pro racing. You've apparently learned absolutely nothing from that because you're still doing every single thing I told you that you were doing wrong. You're still doing it. For instance, let me just give you an example. The whoops are too small. The finish line is way too small. The rhythm section jump peaks are too small. They're too short. They're too low to the ground. There's not any real quads that are actually worth it to hit on the track. I mean, where does it... You're still doing everything. You're still doing all that same dumb shit you were doing back in 2020, 2019. You're still doing it. Dogs, this ain't even RF tracks anymore right here. That's not even what this is anymore. Just to give you another good little example, I got bored of this track in 5 laps. I shit you not. I got completely bored of this track in 5 laps. Whereas, for instance, the 2017 tracks in this game, I've rode thousands of laps on those tracks, and I can still go back to them and have fun. Whereas I got bored of this track in 5 laps. Some of you idiots that can't come to that realization that this is a amateur difficulty track right here. This is not even a pro supercross track in this game. Whoever made this track, you're not an RF track maker. You're just simply not. Whoever gave you that title, you're not that. Let me just say that right now. You're simply not that. If you stripped away the stadium and all the fancy looking decals and tough blocks and everything, this would be considered at best a 5 out of 10 supercross track on MX Simulator. For what MX Simulator is, this is a 5 out of 10 at best. But it tricks all you idiots up because it's RF. Oh my god, it's RF, and you got it in the RF stadium, and oh my god, RF knows best, Spencer. You do realize this isn't even RF tracks anymore. This is side series level bullshittery. No berms. The whoops might as well not even be there. There's no skill gap to the whoops anymore. What the fuck is this? Literally, what is this? Exactly why I'm not pro racing anymore. This shit is so boring. Oh my god. I mean, I can't think of a more boring supercross track that I've ever rode on in my life in this game. It is so boring. There's no quad that's really worth it, that you're going to really hit more than just in qualifying. Every jump, rhythm, peak is so short to the ground that it feels like you're barely even coming off of the ground. I mean, yeah, the main Supercross triple is okay sized, I guess you could say, but like, dudes, this ain't it. Do you remember when I was telling you boys, it's really just the same shit, different year? Same shit, different year? They're not advancing anything. You do realize at this point in, 2022, you should have stadiums of the level of what the Nicholas Sandbox Supercross track had on it. That's what you should have in 2022 paid. Everybody's paying to race in this shit. paid professional esports MX Simulator RF Pro Racing. Instead, you have the exact same stadiums you've had for the past, I don't even know how many years. Boring ass basic ground decal, because everything's made around the road, okay? Boring ass rolled off, not even berms in the corners. Finish lines that you could get over on a literal 50cc bike in this game. Whoops that you could get across as a fucking beginner in this game. I mean, what else do I have to say about this? Like, every aspect of this track is a amateur, boring, basic, beginner bullshit. This is not a pro track. Period. Even just like right here, this triple coming out of this corner. When you hit that, that doesn't feel like you're actually hitting a triple in out of a rhythm. That feels like, oh, well, I mean, a beginner on a 250 could probably still hit that. That's what it really feels like. This little quad right here is not even actually faster than if you just went triple-double to the inside. And it's just big enough to where you get a little bit of a road on this track, you might as well kiss that quad goodbye, because it's not really going to be worth it. It's not really worth it anyways. And some of you dumbasses think RF is all good again, baby. Let's forget about everything they did the past 3 or 4 years. Oh, we're on a new season. RF's got it, bro. Yeah, dude. You dumbasses will wake up at some point if you haven't already. You will wake up at some point. You do realize MX Simulator is still going despite what RF is doing, right? You do realize that. The only reason this shit's still going is because of how good this gameplay of this game is and the physics system to this game. And start your systems with almost 100,000 subscribers on YouTube streaming all of these races. If it wasn't for both of those things, this shit would be nothing. It would be literally nothing at this point. It's not about RFs doing all these good things. That has nothing to do with anything about what's going on nowadays. This is, feels more like sand than dirt. I don't even know. I don't even know if this is 1-to-1 scaling. This feels smaller than 1-to-1 scaling to me. Holy shit. These whoops. Dog, they don't even... This feels like... These whoops on this track feel like roughness to me. These are not whoops. Like, you do realize that, right? Some of you boys pro racing on this shit, you do realize that, right? These jump rhythms... A literal beginner on a 250 could hit most of these jump rhythms on this track. Look at the finish line. Like, what? It is all you can do not to overjump that finish line right there. This is the epitome of why MX Simulator is dying, or why it's already dead. Again, you had, 58 signups in the 450 class RF? You know, it's 2022. If this whole Erode thing you were doing and it saved the game and all this shit, MX Simulator has to have Erode, you would have at least 150 signups in the 450 class alone if you were actually doing things properly and, Erode was so good for this game. But no, you have 58 signups in your very first Anaheim one that everybody's supposed to be all big excited for. 58 signups, dog, in 2022. This shit is stagnant. This shit is not going anywhere. You're not updating these stadiums. You're not changing the way you're making these tracks. It's the same bullshit. If anything, this is worse. I mean, this is so not what we should have in 2022 Pro RF Supercross in this game. Like, some of you that have not come to that realization, I feel really sorry for you, dude. Because you're trapped up in that whole scheme. You're trapped up in that whole thing. You think it's still RF when it's not. They just still have the RF name, but this shit ain't RF anymore, dude. I do not envy you boys that had to pro race on this dumb, boring ass shit. I do not envy you boys that are going to have to go in there and run thousands of laps on this track because it's the only 2022 track in this game. Boring. This is fucking boring. What is fun about going in here and riding on an amateur supercross track? What the hell is fun? Where is the separator on this track? I can't find it anywhere. Where's it at? Somebody tell me, please. Where is it? This feels like you took a amateur track maker, right? And had them go in there and make a subpar 5 out of 10 custom track, and you plopped it into a RF stadium. That's exactly what this is. There ain't no way around that. There's like no fucking effort even being... It doesn't feel like any effort was put into this track at all. At all. And you wonder why this shit's the way it is now. You wonder why I'm not pro racing anymore. A lot of you dumbasses think, I can't handle Erode and I can't handle the new age of art. No, the tracks are boring as shit. I'm not going to go in here and ride on some mind-numbingly level, boring-ass amateur sand track. That's not even fun. That's why I'm not pro racing anymore. But keep going, RF. You just keep proving. You just keep proving over and over and over. You've learned absolutely nothing. This is the same dumb shit you've been doing for the past 2 or 3 years. What else is there to say? This is fucking god-awful. This is god-awful. But, you know, some of you boys think RF has literally saved your entire life or some shit. I don't know. But to defend this at this point, for some of you boys that's really been around the game, you know better than to defend some bullshit like this right here. You know better than that. This is an amateur supercross track. 5 out of 10 at the most. Amateur sand supercross track. 5 out of 10 at the most. It's just nowhere even close to where I thought this shit would have been by 2022. I thought we was going to have, you know, Nicholas Sandbox stadiums and cool-ass, like, particle effects and bigger berms and cool-ass bigger scaling rhythms and big whoops, challenging skill-gapped whoops like you had back in 2017. It's just not even close to that. It ain't even close. This is... I don't even know if dog water is like bad enough of a description for this right here. I mean, we went through 2018, 2019, 2020, 21, and this is still what you get in 2022. I mean, come on, guys. Come on now. But again, you know, your beginners and amateurs are going to love a track like this because they can hit every rhythm. They can get around the track like it's not really that difficult of a thing. But again, what are you trying to do? You trying to make pro tracks or you trying to make amateur tracks? What are you doing? This ain't no pro supercross track. This is just not that at all. No pre-made inside ruts anywhere. No pre-made of any kind anywhere. Rolled off, smoothed off, berms that feel like you're not even really hitting berms, so you basically just turn into this sand sliding bullshit in the corners. Oh my god. The only thing I can say that's even halfway decent about this track is the width of it. It doesn't feel like super, super, super narrow. You know, that's one thing I can say about it. And then the main Supercross triple feels okay to me. But other than that, everything else is D-Mort trash. Trash. Terrible. I mean, just look at these jump rhythms right here. Do you see how I'm barely, like... See how I hit a quad right there, but I'm barely even coming off of the ground? Do you see that right there? You're just barely even coming off of the ground on these rhythms. They've taken away all of that feeling like you're actually hitting a pro-level, peaked out, you know, triple N rhythm section, peaked out whoop section. There's none of that to this track. Yo, whatever this modern RF shit is, this is like spitting in the face of what RF was pre-2008. This is literally spitting in the face of what that was. That's how bad this is. That's actually how, just what the fuck? That's all I can even like begin to say to this. What the fuck? And again, if what you were doing was so great, you would have the numbers to prove it, but you don't. You don't. This game's just slowly in that. It's just, yeah, MX Simulator is going to keep going because it's such an amazing gameplay game. And when you keep having people like Start Your Systems live streaming this shit to 100,000 people out there, it's going to keep going to a certain extent. You know what I mean? Regardless. But this shit is dead. There is no doubt about that. And this track design right here should prove that to you. This shit is dead. It is dead. I thought it was dead like 2 or 3 years ago. No. This is... Holy shit, man. This is like in some sort of bizarre dead man walking type situation right here, dude. I don't even know what this shit is anymore, dude. Oh, man. Oh, man. Dog, even if you had Erode turned on this, it's still an amateur track. It's still way too easy. It's still not peaked up enough rhythm section jumps or whoops or any of that shit. It's still, even when you have Erode turned on. But holy shit, this is why I stopped pro racing. When I get bored of a track in 5 motherfucking laps, I'm not gonna have fun going in there running, 300 laps on this track throughout the next week, getting prepared for the next pro race. Like, some of you boys that actually enjoy that on this kind of track, we are not the same, big dog. We are not the same. There's just no real separator. There's just nothing. Here I am coming up short because I don't want to overjump this fucking 2-foot long finish line. I mean, really? Like, oh man. Oh man. Worst RF track for its time, without a doubt. I have no question about that in my mind. Worst one. Worst. Motherfuckers never loved us. Worst. You are not RF. Whoever's running this operation here, you're not RF. You just have the RF name. Period.